Braden next in Jackson, Wyoming. Hi, Braden.
Hey, Hank, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Hey, I'm going to give you some full disclosure here. I'm actually an atheist, and I was just I like listening to your show because I like hearing some of the answers from the Christian perspective. I grew up, I grew up a Mormon, actually, and I just had a couple of questions as far as kind of free will, because I hear in some churches believe that God punishes, and like the LDS faith maybe says they don't, that God doesn't punish for your decisions, your choices, and I was curious, is the Christian belief that God does punish for the free will or not, or?
Well, there are consequences to all of our actions. So, for example, I'll give you David. David was the quintessential king of Israel. He is shown in Scripture with all his warts and moles and wrinkles. So the Scriptures talk about David conducting a census. So he was not relying upon the arm of the Lord, but rather upon his own arm of strength. Well, there's a consequence to that. We read that David lusted after Bathsheba and had her husband Uriah killed on the battlefield. Well, David repented, but the sword never left his home. So there are consequences to the behaviors that we engage in while we are in the flesh, and those consequences really do matter. I've said many times, Braden, that I live in the land of antinomy, which means that I believe on the one hand, God is sovereign. On the other hand, I believe that the choices we make really do matter. Now, that land of antinomy does not allow me to fully comprehend how all of that works. It is mysterious, and I'm willing to leave that in mystery, but there are certain things that we are privy to, and that is what I just communicated to you. Our actions do bear consequences, but we do have a real choice to love and serve God or to do otherwise, as I just said to the last caller. Now, in terms of your atheism, I think that those who are atheists have a remarkable amount of faith, because you have to, at the end of the day, be able to say that nothing creates everything, that life comes from non-life, and that the life that comes from non-life produces mores and ethos. Not only that, but you have to live in a world where you resign everything, not to free will, but to fatalistic determinism. Because if you are but a material person, your choices are not free. They're fatalistically determined by brain chemistry, genetics, and your circumstances. So the atheist worldview obviously is not in concert with the worldview that I just communicated and that I personally hold to.
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree with that. And like I say, I do like listening to your show. I don't necessarily believe that atheism believes nothing from nothing, because I could make that same argument that, who created God? That's kind of the same justification there, but I appreciate your opinions, and I'll keep listening to you.
Well, thank you, and I'm honored that you would call me. So call me anytime, and again, just really honored that you would be listening to the broadcast.
Yep, we'll see you later.
Bless you. Yeah, we oftentimes, to Braden's question, who made God, say that unlike the universe, which according to modern science had a beginning, God is infinite and eternal, and therefore an infinite eternal being can logically be demonstrated to be the uncaused first cause. And to suppose that because the universe had a cause, the cause of the universe must have a cause simply leads to a logical dead end. I wrote about that in the Creation Answer book, a book available through the Ministry of the Christian Research Institute. So a lot of questions about origins, which is not just a apologetic issue, in my view, is the apologetic issue, are answered in the Creation Answer book, which is available. You can find it on the web at equip.org. You can also write me at Box 8500, Charlotte, North Carolina, zip code 28271. And do remember, resource consultant standing by, 888-7000, and the letters CRI. Will be right back from a station break in just a bit with more answers to your questions.